Sorcerer. We're going to start with Sorcerer. That's a fucking sweet illustration. All right, so all this stuff looks pretty, normal as is here. Blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to run on down to... I believe most of this should hopefully all still be the same or relatively the same. All right, so innate sorcery, an event in your past left. Oh, in your past left. Oh, I'm like, that doesn't seem right. I thought I was going to say in your past life. In your past left an indelible mark on you, infusing you with shimmering magic. As a bonus action, you can unleash that magic for 1 minute. Okay, so now they have like a weird sort of like sorcerer mode they go into. Spell save DC of your spells increases by 1. Cool. Advantage on the attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast. That's pretty big. You can use this feature twice. You gain all expended uses of it when you finish a long rest. That's kind of crazy. So if you're a DM that doesn't do a lot like multiple combats in the same day, like if you only do like 1 or 2 combats a day, your sorcerer basically always has advantage on attack rolls. That's crazy. Font of Magic. You can tap into the Wellspring. Okay, so this is their sorcery point stuff. You can expend a spell slot to gain a number of sorcery points equal to the slot's level. No action required. Nice. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. It was. I feel like that allows you more flexibility as a sorcerer in combat to be able to spend a spell slot, gain more sorcery points, and then immediately do a spell with your sorcery points instead of needing to like take a turn to like conjure them up or whatever. So that's cool. Meta magic options are probably later. Yeah, later in this class's description. All right. Subclass, ability score improvements, restoration. Sorceress restoration. When you finish a short rest, you can regain sorcery points, but no more than a number equal to half your sorcerer level rounded down. Let's use this feature. All right, that's fine. I'm not super familiar with what sorcerer was before, but yeah, that's fine. Sorcery Incarnate. If you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can use it if you spend 2 sorcery points when you take the bonus action to activate it. In addition, while it is active, you can use up to 2 of your meta magic options on each spell you cast. What? Oh, you know what I don't like? I don't like that these don't tell you what level you get them at. Like, obviously, you can just go up here to see where you get them at, but just for, like, ease of, like, use, I wish that it also still, like, said right here, like, in previous ones, or at least on, like subclasses. Let's go into a subclass. No, okay, it doesn't do it for the subclass either. You just have to... Yeah, that's... I don't like that. Before, it would either say, like, under telepathic speech, 3rd level feature. Or it would say, at blah, blah, blah level, you get. Now it doesn't. It just lists them all out. It's a nitpicky thing, but I still wish it just showed it there just so that we knew. Anyway, Sorcery Incarnate. So what level do you get that at? That is a 7th level. So at 7th level, when you have Sorcery Incarnate active, you can put 2 meta magic options on each spell you cast. Was that not an... Could you not do that before? Like, again, I'm not super... Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, maybe before it did. You can only use 1 meta magic option on a spell when you cast it, unless otherwise noted. So, yeah, that's probably why. And then Epic Boon, you get an Epic Boon feat or another feat of your choice for which you qualify. While your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use one meta magic option on each of your turns without spending sorcery points on it. That's very cool. And that is that's your 20th level one. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You get up to 20th level and you can just use sorcery or meta magic options at will, basically. All right, so we have careful spell still, distant spell, empowered spell, extended spell, heightened spell, quicken spell, seeking spell. I think that's new, but basically just gives you another roll. Transmuted spell. When you cast a spell that deals a damage or a type of damage from the following list, you can spend one sorcery point to change that damage. So I'm working on the Cosmic Wizard right now, and that's something Cosmic Wizard can do. And all right, so Transmuted and Seeking Spell look like the new ones. So some fun new options here for sure. Aberrant Sorcerer, Clockwork Sorcerer, and Draconic Sorcery. So you form a telepathic connection. Apparently they redid Aberrant Sorcerer quite a bit from what I understand. But again, I wasn't like super familiar with it before. So telepathic speech, you can form a telepathic connection between your mind and the mind of another. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You and the chosen creature can communicate telepathically with each other while you're within a number of miles. Lasts for a number of minutes equal to your sorcerer level. Okay, that's fine. I don't think that's changed too much. When you cast any level 1 plus spell from your psionic spells feature, these, you can cast it by expending a spell slot as normal or by spending a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level. If you cast the spell using sorcery points, it requires no verbal or somatic components, and it requires no material components unless they are consumed by the spell or have a cost specified by it. What is the... So in order to get a spell slot level back, it basically costs 1 point plus. So this basically lets you... Okay, so yeah, that is worth it. All right, cool. You have resistance to psychic damage. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition. See, I don't like being able to easily see what levels these are. Sorcerer subclass feature. I wonder if everyone gets their subclass features at like the same levels now. I'm not a big fan of subclass features that don't do anything to the way the class plays. Like, obviously, resistance to psychic damage is good. Advantage on saving throws to avoid or end charmed, frightened. That's good, but it's just a thing you have now. Like, you don't actually do anything with it. Revelation in Flesh. You can unleash the aberrant truth hidden within yourself. As a bonus action, you can spend 1 sorcery point or more to magically alter your body for 10 minutes. For each sorcery point you spend, you gain one of the following benefits of your choice, the effects of which last until the alteration ends. Aquatic adaptation. Gain swim speed equal to your speed, breathe underwater. Fly speed equal to your speed, and you can hover. Sea invisibility. Worm-like movement. Your body, along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying, becomes slimy and pliable. Don't like that. You can move through any space as narrow as 1 inch. You can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints or the grapple condition. And Warping Implosion. You can unleash a space warping anomaly. As a magic action, you teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 120 feet of yourself. Immediately after you disappear, each creature within 30 feet of the space you left must make a strength saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, a creature takes 3d10 force damage and is pulled straight towards the space you left, ending in an unoccupied space as close to your former space as possible. On a successful save, the creature takes only half damage. All right, so that's cool. So basically, you warp away, and each creature, that includes allies, by the way, within 30 feet, are basically pulled in and damaged. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 5 sorcery points to restore your use of it. I think that's cool. I think being able, because they do this a few times with the aberrant, or with another sort of feature as well. I like the idea that if you have some sort of resource like sorcery points, that you can use those to recharge class abilities that normally you can only use X amount of times. That's really cool. I like that. Okay, so it seems like sorcery, the sort of big takeaway that I have from Sorcerer so far is that sorcery points can be used to do more than just change your spells around, and I really, really like that. I already am starting to get an idea of what a cool item we can make would be. Okay, so subclasses are 3, 6, 14, and 18 for Sorcerer. 3, 6, 14, 18. So 3, 6, 14, 18. Yep. So at level 3, your connection to the plane of absolute order allows you to equalize chaotic moments. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you is about to roll a d20 with advantage or disadvantage, you can take a reaction to prevent the roll from being affected by advantage and disadvantage. Use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You'll gain all expended uses after you finish a long rest. All right, that's cool. That's fine, I guess. So, level 6, you can tap into the grand equation of existence to imbue a creature with a shimmering shield of order. As a magic action, you can expend 1 to 5 sorcery points to create a magical ward around yourself and the creature you can see. Ward is represented by a number of d8s equal to the number of sorcery points spent to create it. When the warded creature takes damage, it can expend a number of those dice, roll them, and reduce the damage taken by the total rolled on those dice. That is a very cool feature. I don't know if the old Clockwork Sorcerer was that way, but I have been toying with and trying to come up with like a cool sort of shield-based like healer. Kind of like how Disciplined Priest in World of Warcraft plays, where like when you heal people, you also basically put like shields and like protection and stuff on them. And I like this implementation of a new kind of mechanic where it isn't a static shield that you necessarily give. That's cool. I like that. Trance Order. You gain the ability to align your consciousness with the endless calculations of mechanists. As a bonus action, you can enter this state for 1 minute. For the duration, attack rolls against you can't benefit from advantage, and whenever you make a d20 test, D20 tests encompass the 3 main D&D roles of the game: ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws. If something in the game affects D20 tests, it affects all 3 of these roles. The DM determines when a D20 test is warranted in a given circumstance. All right, so that is a new term that they've added. So basically, contested checks. No, it's not contested. So if you're rolling a d20 to do something, it's referred to as a d20 test. Okay. Ability checks, attack rolls, saving throws are just called d20 tests now. For the duration, attack rolls against you can't benefit from advantage, and whenever you make a d20 test, you can treat a roll of 9 or lower on the d20 as a 10. Whoa, that's kind of crazy. So that's reliable talent for all rolls that you make? For all rolls? Level 14? That's very crazy. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest unless you spend 5 sorcery points. Clockwork Cavalcade. You momentarily summon spirits of order to expunge disorder around you as a magic action. Cast a spell, use a magic item, or use a magical feature. When you take the magic action, you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, or use a feature or magic item that requires a magic action to be activated. If you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 minute or longer, you must take the magic action on each turn of that casting and must maintain concentration while you do so. If your concentration is broken, the spell fails, but you don't expend a spell slot. Okay. So magic actions are a thing now, and I wonder if that is because you can now do things like cast like counterspell maybe type stuff on more than just a spell, right? Like if you're using a magic item and it takes a magic action, you could be like, zoop, and stop it. Maybe. You summon the spirits in a 30-foot cube originating from you. The spirits look like Modrons or other constructs of your choice. The spirits are intangible and invulnerable, and they create the effects below within the cube before vanishing. Once you use this action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or 7 sorcery points. The spirits restore up to 100 hit points, divided as you choose among any number of creatures. Repair any damaged objects entirely in the cube are repaired instantly. Every spell of level 6 and lower ends on creatures and objects of your choice in the cube. Hold on. Does it do all of those? As a magic action, you summon the spirits in a 30-foot cube originating from you. The spirits look like Modrons or other constructs of your choice. The spirits are intangible and invulnerable, and they create the effects below within the cube before vanishing. So they just do all of that's kind of insane. Like the repair one, yeah, whatever. But so you use a magic action to instantly restore 100 hit points divided as you choose, and any spell level 6 and lower ends on creatures and objects of your choice in your cube. That's big. That's pretty insane. Draconic Sorcery. Hit point maximum increases by 3, and it increases by 1 whenever you gain another sorcerer level. While you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class equals 10. So basically a plus 2. Oh, shit. And your dex and charisma modifiers. So that means if you are a draconic sorcerer and you can get a 20 in your your charisma and your dexterity, you have a base of 20 AC, wearing nothing. that's kind of crazy, too. So, did any of the other ones have a thing before their spells that I missed? No. No. Choose one of the following types. You have resistance to that damage type, and you cast a spell that deals damage. You can add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. When you cast a spell that deals damage of that type, you can add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. Why does that feel like it sounds weird? To 1. Oh, it's probably worded in that way. So, like, if you cast, like, let's say, Scorching Ray, which has 3 attack rolls, you only add the 5 to 1 of them. Okay, that's fair. Dragon Wings, yep, of course, that's pretty normal thing to expect for a Draconic Sorcery. You can cast Summon Dragon without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you're going to be able to cast this way when you finish your long rest. When you start casting a spell, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute. I don't know how I feel about this. You guys can't see it super well from there, but how I feel about this change for stat blocks. It's kind of ugly. That kind of seems a little underwhelming compared to the other ones for a 16th level thing. Because, I mean, it's a 5th level spell. Obviously, not having to concentrate on it is cool. But, I mean, at that point, like, you're already doing... Hold on. So, yeah, you get that at 18th level. You can technically... So, at 18th level, you can do a thing you can do at 9th level without concentration. Like, it should let you do it. It should let you do it at a higher level. Still thematic. It's still within the theme of the thing, though, so that's fine. Oh, did they shorten the Wild Magic Surge table? That's kind of lame. It used to be like 1 every 2. Now it's like... every 4? So they cut it in half? There's only 50 options now? It's a little lame. Alright, so the Wild Magic Sorcerer used to be pretty lame. Let's see if it's any better. Once per turn, you can roll 1d20 immediately after you cast a Sorcerer spell with a spell slot. If you roll a 20, roll on the Wild Magic Surge table to create a magical effect. So it's still only a 5% chance that you're using it. If the magical effect is a spell, it is too wild to be affected by your meta magic. Oh, I see what it's saying. So if whatever you roll is a spell, you can't put meta magic on it. 1 to 4. Roll this table at the start of each of your turns for the next minute, ignoring this result on subsequent rolls. A creature that is friendly towards you appears... A creature that is friendly toward you appears in a random unoccupied space within 60 feet of you. Creature's under the DM's control and disappears 1 minute later. It can be a Modron, a Flump, another Modron, or a Unicorn. For the next minute, you regain 5 hit points at the start of each of your turns. Creatures have disadvantages on saving throws against the next spell you cast in the next minute that involves a saving throw. You are subjected to an effect that lasts for 1 minute unless its description says otherwise. Roll 1d8 to determine the effect. You're surrounded by faint, ethereal music. Only you and creatures within 5 feet of you can hear. Your size increases by 1 category. You grow a long beard made of feathers that remains until you sneeze. So it seems like some of these were just like condensed down into like multiple things into one thing. I'm not really sure like what the reasoning or impetus for that was. You must shout when you speak. Illusory butterflies flutter in the air within 10 feet of you. An eye appears on your forehead, granting you advantage on wisdom perception checks. Pink bubbles flow out of your mouth whenever you speak. Your skin turns a vibrant shade of blue for 24 hours, or until the effect is ended by remove curse. For the next minute, all your spells with the casting time of an action have a casting time of a bonus action. Ooh. You are transported to the astral plane until the end of your next turn. You then return to the space you previously occupied. Next time you cast a spell that deals damage the next minute, don't roll the spell's damage dice for the damage, and instead use the highest number possible. You have resistance to all damage for the next minute. You turn into a potted plant. For the next minute, you can teleport up to 20 feet as a bonus action on each of your turns. You and up to 3 creatures become invisible. A spectral shield hovers near you for the next minute, granting you a +2 bonus to AC and immunity magic missile. Extra turn this action. Cast a random spell. If it requires concentration, it doesn't in this case. Confusion, fireball, fog cloud, fly. You cast if the spell requires to determine the spell. So do you get to choose where it goes? Because, like, this is where the fireball is now, and I think it used to say that, like, when this happens, it gets cast on you. But this seems to indicate, because some of them say, like, fly, cast on a random creature within 60 feet of you. Levitate, cast on yourself. Magic missile, mirror image, polymorph, cast on yourself. If you fail the saving throw, you turn into a goat. See invisibility. So, for confusion, fireball, fog, cloud, grease, is it still centered on you? Because I guess all the other ones that specify a specific creature are single target spells. So are the rest centered on you even though it doesn't say, or do you get to choose? Depending on how DMs interpret that, this is not actually that bad of a surge. For the next minute, any flammable, non-magic item you touch is being warded or carried, bursts into flames. If you die within the next hour, you revive. You have the frightened condition at the end of your next turn. Teleport 60 feet. A random creature is poisoned. You radiate bright light. Creatures within 5 feet of you are blinded. Creatures take necrotic damage. 3 creatures take lightning damage. You and all creatures have vulnerability to piercing. And then lastly, you regain hit points. An ally of your choice regains hit points. You get back a spell slot. An ally gets back a spell slot. Regain all your expended sorcery points, or all of the effects from rows 17 through 20 affect you simultaneously. Oof, that's a lot. Tides of Chaos. You can manipulate chaos yourself to give yourself advantage on one d20 test before you roll the d20. Once you do so, you must cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot, or finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. If you do cast a sorcerer spell with the spell slot, you automatically roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. Okay, I feel like Tides of Chaos before, like, was a little bit weirder in, like, how you got it back. This is a lot clearer and gives you a way to, like, reliably use the Wild Magic Surge table. Bend to luck, you have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. Immediately after another creature you can see rolls the d20 for a d20 test, you can take a reaction and spend 1 sorcery point to roll 1d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty, your choice, to the d20 roll. So for those of you who have been around here for any amount of time, you know that I've talked before about how Bard mechanically doesn't feel like a very distinct class, because a lot of classes or subclasses have the ability or have a mechanic that does the exact same thing that the Bard does with like Bardic Inspiration and stuff, right? Like this right here is literally just a D4 Bardic / cutting words. If I show you like 30 seconds of a campaign where someone said that they were gonna use an ability to reduce a saving throw by 1d4, you wouldn't be able to, you'd be like, oh, that's probably a Bard. And I'd be like, no, it's a Sorcerer. Controlled Chaos. You gain a modicum of control over the surges of your wild magic. Whenever you roll on the wild magic surge table, you can roll twice and use either number. Immediately after you cast a sorcery spell with a spell slot, you can create an effect of your choice from the wild magic surge table instead of rolling on that table. You can choose any effect in the table except for the final row, and if the chosen effect involves a roll, you must make it. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. I wonder why this one isn't given the option, like Aberrant Sorcery and Clockwork Sorcery, to spend sorcery points to gain the ability back. So you're telling me that using an action to summon some constructs that heal everyone, or sorry, that allows you to heal up to 100 hit points and dispel every level 6 spell or lower of your choice, that you can do multiple times if you spend 7 sorcery points. But Wild Magic Sorcerer, you can only do 1 time. Like, there's not even anything in here that I feel like is that insane that you should only be able to do it, like, 1 time, right? Like, there's definitely some good shit in here, but you're only going to let me use it 1 time. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I think out of all of these, I think, once again, Wild Magic Sorcery kind of gets the shaft. They, like, improved a few things, but overall, I think that it's not that great, especially compared to the other ones. So, our Fey Royalty Sorcerer is still pretty good.